Hello, it's coffee time. I've done a couple because Mrs. was out and about, so no one to watch it, so didn't need to make one. But we read the Daily Mail website, so you don't have to. Top story. He's just Harry now, isn't he? He's not Prince Harry, he's just Harry. He's got his book coming out January the 10th. Yeah, it's a tell-all memoir, and it's called Spare. Shall we look at it? Here is Spare. Spare Dick at the orgy. Apparently he's got a $20 million advance for that, and he's donated $1.5 million to charity. Does anyone really care? You could say he's surplus to requirements. Is he indeed spare? I'm sure the Americans will lap it up, but I don't think any real people, not real people, they have no interest in Harry, do they? Now this story's been rumbling on. This is one of those. It's a moider story. It's horrible. It's a horrible story. It's a story of Gemma Mitchell. Here she is, and she was an osteopath. Well, she's still alive, but she's been found guilty of killing her friend and dismembering her, or cutting off her head. Her friend was Mi Quang Chong. They met a Christian, I guess it was a Christian church, and Gemma Mitchell beat the 67-year-old woman to death and then cut off her head. She was a dissection expert. Yeah, she studied dissection as a student. You know, she could have been a very promising surgeon, I reckon. Yeah. But yeah, instead, the two women, I guess you'd call them vulnerable people. Miss Chong was schizophrenic, and Mitchell had become a bit of a hoarder, and her family home was in a state of disrepair, and she basically killed the lady for money to fix her house. She faked her will and everything, and then brutally murdered her. And this is the picture of her taking the body out in a blue suitcase, where she dumped her in was it in Devon? So I think it was Salcombe. I think it was. Yeah, Salcombe in Devon. What a horrible story. It's like something from one of those murder mysteries you see on the television. But yeah, it really does happen. Whenever you see one of those things where people moider, yeah, it's awful. Meanwhile, police news. This is a story of a Merseyside police officer. Former Constable James Innes stepped down before a formal misconduct hearing. What did he do? Well, apparently he recorded himself hurling racist abuse at his television, then accidentally forwarding it onto a colleague on WhatsApp. But yeah, he was found guilty of gross misconduct, but Ennis has stood down. So I still can't get my head around it, how you can accidentally record yourself and then accidentally send it on to someone. It's a lot of accidents. I think he's obviously incompetent, isn't he, if he's doing that, you know. But yeah, bonkers. And yeah, we've got a new Prime Minister. Rishi Rishi's Prime Minister, the first Hindu Prime Minister, first Prime Minister of colour. But they've been doing a study of Rishi's family and how much money he's worth. Look at that. These people are good for a few. They're good for a few quid, aren't they? But it's funny because the left have been saying, well, you know, he might be Asian, but he's rich. He's not a proper Asian because he's got a lot of money. They're just jealous because they haven't They haven't got an Asian prime minister or an Asian leader or a female leader or a female Asian leader. In fact, yeah. Meanwhile, don't worry, folks. Don't worry. Colonel Igor Korchenko, who's editor-in-chief of Russia's National Defense magazine, said that Russia's missile and submarine bomber drills were used to demonstrate the country's ability to carry out a retaliatory strike, and that the UK and US would be destroyed first. That's nice. We would be completely obliterated by massive nuclear strikes. It does feel like we're in the 1980s, doesn't it? And there you go. That's some of the tests that they were doing. And look, here's a submarine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Meanwhile, there are reports coming out from Ukraine that the Russians are deporting thousands of Ukrainian babies and infants, where they're being forced to be adopted in Russia. Again, this is a most bizarre thing. But Putin's goddaughter, she's fled to the West. Yeah, she's an opposition politician Ksenia Sobchak, 40, who's been critical of her godfather, fled from Russia to Belarus, over the border with a baseball cap pulled down over her face, and I think she's in Lithuania at the moment. So yeah, that's Russia news. Don't worry, folks. Crime has hit a all-time high. 6.5 million crimes are recorded in 1 year, including 2.1 million violent crimes and nearly 200,000 sexual offences for England and Wales. Everything's just going to pot. There you go. I wonder if it's got anything to do with them cutting police numbers. Might be. Might be. This was an odd story. I saw this yesterday. They reckon a human rights organisation called Safeguard Defenders has warned that China is operating more than 50 undeclared police hubs as part of a global network, and they use these to force dissidents to return to Beijing. And the researchers have outlined existence of possible sites in London and Glasgow after their addresses were made public by Chinese security bureaus in Fitzhall and Qinghai. And these addresses are linked to Chinese restaurants in Scotland, an estate agent and fast food delivery firm in London. They're a front for unofficial, well, I suppose they'd be unofficial over here, but again, official, 54 secret police stations. So next time you ask for the special fried rice, it might be a dissident cooking it for you on their way to Beijing. How utterly bizarre! How utterly bizarre! Let's see, we've got any more funny ones? Some miserable ones. Miserable ones. Miserable ones. Miserable ones. Oh God. Oh, here you go. This is Disney. Disney have created their first plus-size protagonist in a powerful short film about body dysmorphia. Here you go. Well, I'm sorry, but what was Shrek? Shrek was plus size, wasn't he? And so was his missus. So, really? It's not a first, is it? What was it called? Fatty Saves the Day? Oh no, I'm being fat phobic. No, I'm not. Look, being overweight's no good for you, especially as you get older. You know, onset diabetes. You can have strokes. You know, all sorts of bad things happen to you when you're older and carrying a lot more luggage. So lose a bit of weight. Good for your health. You live longer. You know. That's what I've done. So I'd be more annoying for longer. All right. You don't see any morbidly obese fat people. So it does you no good. It does you no good. And this is why the whole body positivity thing ends up hurting people. I think we need to be sensible. Oh, court news. This is the story of Zoe Newby and her son Liam Dunphy. Oh, this is there's is it blood's thicker than water? This is where your family can often be worse. The worst thing about you, the pair of them, staged a revenge attack against their own mother. She armed themselves with a baseball bat and an iron bar, and attempted to attack. Again, it would be her mother and his grandmother. Here they are, and they were 2 of 4 people who broke into the Greater Manchester residence in September 2020 to attack Diane Hayward. Here. Her husband was hurt in the incident, and it's all because they'd been frozen out of the family will. She'd obviously there'd been a big falling out, and she'd frozen them out, so they decided to settle it. I mean, it's not very nice, is it? But yeah, the boy, or the young lad, was sentenced to 12 months jail, suspended for 18 months in order to undertake 120 hours of unpaid work and 25 days of rehabilitation activity. And the daughter, I mean, crikey, she looks older than her mother. Crikey. Was sentenced to 12 months jail, suspended for 18 months, in order to complete 30 days of rehabilitation activity and a 9-month alcohol treatment programme. Gee. Newby had a previous conviction in 2017 where she was jailed for 16 weeks for stealing £500 for an elderly dementia patient she was working as a carer for. Wow, these are nice people. Blimey, O'Reilly. Meanwhile, Kanye West's having a bit of a problem because, as I've said before, he hasn't got any handlers. He suffers from bipolar, and he's obviously going through a very deep episode. And it's again, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a fan of his music, but when you see somebody crashing and burn like this, you have to have sympathy for them on a human level. But every business partner he's got have been cancelling. I mean, he was in an interview the other day where he said, Adidas, I've still got Adidas, and then they cancelled him. Well, yesterday he turned up at the Skechers HQ. Again, they make trainers, don't they? And yeah, he was escorted out there. And now Apple Music have removed Kanye West's Essentials playlist from the service, and he's getting fewer and fewer friends, business friends, business associates, and no one's stopping him. There's nobody there, trying to rein him in and stop him destroying himself. It's obvious he's going through some sort of psychotic episode, and this is a problem when you've got a lot of money and a lot of influence and you surround yourself with yes men. So yeah, not good. Meanwhile, this is a young fella. This young fella shared a list of pros and cons. Yeah. Have you got it? And for his girlfriend, this was shared on is this an Australian radio station? I can't tell. It sounds like it's an Australian. I'm trying to find it. It's a radio station called KIIS-FM, but he was on there sharing his pros and cons, right? And I mean, he sounds like a catch. I don't know about you. Shall we go through them? All right. Pro. she gets along with his mum. Con, she refuses to shave or wax. Pros, she has big boobs. Cons, she's put on weight. That's probably why she's got the big boobs, mate. Pros, she's a great cook. That's probably why she's put on weight and has got the big boobs. She sniffs her dental floss. Pros, she's got a cute dog. Cons, she smells like vintage clothes. Pros, she gives great massages. Cons, she has bad morning breath. Well, that's morning, isn't it? Pros, she looks hot, but not slutty. Cons, she doesn't like spicy food. Oh. Pros, she has a private Instagram. Cons, she's taller when in heels. Well, she would be if she's wearing heels. She wouldn't be shorter if she was wearing heels, would she? This guy's not very bright. Pro, she's pretty without makeup. Cons, she bites her fingernails. It took me nearly 40 years to stop biting my fingernails. That is one addiction. Pro, she's horny all the time. Cons, she can't drive. It's like reading my own description here. Pro, she's open-minded. Cons, she calls a sausage sizzle a sausage in bread. I call it a sausage sandwich. Well, there you go. What a strange fella. She needs to dump him. He don't seem all right, does he? Good news, everybody. Vaping is just as bad as cigarettes for your heart. A landmark NIH study has found, two studies, one on mice and one on people, showed that e-cigarettes were found to cause similar damage to blood vessels as smoking tobacco. How did they get the mouse to puff on the vape? That's what I want to know. Did they make little mouse-sized vapes? I'm beginning to wonder. And here is a picture of somebody smoking a vape, just in case you don't know what it looks like. Good old Daily Mail. Yeah, apparently the endothelial cells end up getting damaged, and it's just not good for you. Just smoke a pipe instead. No? All right then. Maybe not. Maybe not. I have to go to. I have to go to the funny folder in a minute. Oh, here's one. I saw this earlier. Good news, everybody. Shell, petroleum giant Shell. They've announced profits of 8.2 billion. Yeah, in the last quarter, in 3 months, and that's more than double the amount for the same period last year. Wait a minute. Their profits have risen and have doubled. Do you get the feeling that we're being played? They say they benefit from high gas prices driven by Russian invasion of Ukraine. Yeah, I think they're just exploiting us. You see, they could reduce the cost of their product and still make a handsome profit, couldn't they? But they choose not to. They choose not to. Oh, this is a young couple. Magda Krakarak and her fiance Kevin Pike. They're from Norwich. Here they are. And these clever young folk, they reckon they're making £100,000 a month. What have they got? They've got an OnlyFans. Yeah, have they got an OnlyFans? No, they haven't. This is the really interesting thing. The young couple have created a feminist clothing brand, and they hand embroider and stitch t-shirts. And they knew they were onto something because they got £22,000 worth of sales in one day, because their business went viral on TikTok. So there is a good place for TikTok. Hooray! And yeah, they've surpassed £100,000 worth of sales in 1 month. Excellent. I think this is great. I really do. Again, better watch out. They might get targeted. And here's one for the dads. There you go. That's a very important message. Certainly draws your eye, doesn't it? Certainly draws your eye. But yeah, fantastic. Meanwhile, vets have said you shouldn't be dressing your pets in Halloween costumes because they can cause them harm and spark anxiety on a day they already find stressful. How does a dog know it's Halloween? They understand what they know when it's bonfire night because they can hear the rockets going off. And to prove this, we have some dogs in Halloween costumes. Here you go. He's a Chucky, and this dog's saying, "You would tell me if I looked stupid in this, wouldn't you?" And this cat appears to be a member of the clergy. Oh, this one's probably the best one. I like this one. Look, Ringo with some pumpkins. He's wearing some bat wings. I think he can get away with that. I don't think he'd be too upset with that. In fact, Ringo has got a bit of a habit. He loves Halloween. We don't tend to dress up. Anna, she's not really. Anyway, I don't believe in Halloween. Halloween's one of those terrible Americanisms that we have imported. Here's a good one. So yeah, don't dress, don't have fun, because the vet told you. I must admit, all these dogs look like they're having a good time. They don't look distressed. I mean, to them, they're just thinking they're putting their coat on. You know, because if you've got a dog in the winter, you put a coat on them anyway. You know, and some have little hoods now. You know, you can get little hoods, keep their head dry, and they don't mind wearing that. Doesn't distress them. So how would they know? How would they know? I don't understand. I do have some animal stories. If you're interested, in animal stories? I've got quite a few. Mind you, I do have a follow-up. This is a follow-up to a story I did cover earlier in the year. And this was a horrible story. And there was actually footage of it. And it was the poor lady was actually pushed to her death from this coastal hilltop, right? She was pregnant at the time, and her husband Hakan Assel pushed his wife Semra off a cliff, and she was pregnant at the time. And there is actually video footage of it. I won't show it again because I think we got a little naughty. We got a little naughty. YouTube's went no. But he's been jailed for life. Good. He appealed on the basis of insanity, but medics ruled that he's sane and will have to serve at least 30 years. And that's not long enough. He should have been done for... Was he done for killing the unborn baby as well? Over here there would have been 2 charges. Horrible. Meanwhile, this is a story for the ladies. This is funny. This is funny. Ladies, are you wearing a badly fitted bra? Ladies, because there is some researchers have found side effects, and they've made some graphics to indicate what a badly fitted bra could do to you. Not only can it give you back pain and neck pain and bad posture, you could end up looking like this. Isn't that Keira Knightley's face that they've used? Oh dear. Hey, Mrs. It's you. This next one, I think, it's you. I'm in so much trouble. So there you go. Make sure you're wearing a properly fitting bra. And Andreas Anastu, a sports therapist with expertise in body corrective exercise, and general practitioner Dr. Hannah Patel, explained the signs and symptoms of a too tight or non-supporting bra. And like I said, you can get rubbing or chafing, marks on your shoulders, indentations, marks on your chest, shoulder pain, back pain, skin abrasions. There you go. Meanwhile, players at the 2020 World Cup. They spelt it 20 with a anyway. World Cup. It's cricket at the Sydney Cricket Ground. They were practicing, and Indian cricketers have complained. What were they complaining about? Here they are. Here they are celebrating, right? Yes, they're in Sydney. But what has the Indian team complained about? They were complaining about their lunch because they got cold sandwiches. And they went, no, we want some hot food. Again, I think they ended up ordering. Yeah, they were so unimpressed. I think they ordered Just Eat to deliver them some pizza or something. But they're saying they're speaking out for everyone, because you can't expect them to eat just cold sandwiches. They wanted a hot grub. Hot grub. But meanwhile, have you been watching the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix? I've still got 2 episodes to watch. But yeah, Dr. James Fallon of Irvine, California. We went to Irvine. Do you remember? We went there. He believes, he's a neuroscientist, he believes that Jeffrey Dahmer was not a psychopath because he actually did show emotional empathy to people. Well, there you go. He just enjoyed killing people, didn't it? Meanwhile, Germany are trying to legalise cannabis. Yeah, they want to legalise it, but they got a problem. What's the problem? Well, because Germany's part of the EU, and they reckon that because of freedom of movement rules and the Schengen zone, they can't do it because of their neighbours. Because I guess people could wander in, free movement with cannabis, which would be illegal in other parts of the EU. So yeah, the legislation must receive approval from EU courts to ensure it complies with European law before it can be implemented. That's interesting, that. Gee, you might want to leave the EU, Germany. So, if we legalise cannabis over here, we would never be able to rejoin the EU, would we? No. Here we go. We've got some. This is interesting. These are sketches, right? These are sketches from Star Wars. Yeah. Right. They're up for auction at the moment, and there's a female version of Luke Skywalker. Yeah, the original Luke Skywalker was going to be a lady. Wow, there you go. And yeah, a number of these sketches are up for auction. Wow, how cool is that? If you're a big Star Wars fan. There's an early Darth Vader. See, they had the design pretty well sorted out. And here is a lot of the storyboards I guess they used for the film. Very good. Very, very good, if you like kind of thing. Yeah, I reckon they could fetch £8,000 at auction. So yeah, get your bid in. Get your bid in, no? Okay then. Yeah, the drawings are going to be sold on November the 6th. And yeah, lots of yeah, they were drawn by British artist Ivor Beddoes and were kept by the film's advertising supervisor Charlie Lippincott. So yeah, there you go, if you're a big Star Wars fan. But yeah, could be good. Meanwhile, I did have some funnies for you to do. Well, no, let's stay in the world of sci-fi. I saw this one, and again, this is, I don't know if you're aware of this. Oh, blimey, I've gone over the half an hour mark. I'll get through this quickly. But yeah, they're rebooting Time Bandits. Yeah, on Apple TV Plus, and Taika Waititi, who does Thor and Jojo Rabbit and whatnot, and What We Do in the Shadows, is helming it now. Before it was Terry Gilliam. One of my favourite films, kids film, love it. It's one of my favourite films of all time. They're rebooting it, and this is a point I've been aware of. because again, this comes part of people who are different to us. Abby Grace Purvis, she's the granddaughter of Jack Purvis, who was in the original film. Here she is. Oh, something pinged. She's come forward and she's saying how, it's really not right. Here's the original Time Bandits with John Cleese as Robin Hood. He plays a subversive Robin Hood who doesn't give the money away. Love that. But yeah, and Peter Dinklage made the same issue, that now whenever small people are cast or meant to be characters in whether it's sci-fi films or fairy stories or whatnot, they're cast normal. They're normal sized people, regular sized people, or she calls them average height people, and they digitally shrink them. And this is putting a whole generation of small people out of work. Peter Dinklage made the same point, and this is what I mean. I won't be watching it. I'm going to be boycotting it, because the whole point of Time Bandits, right, is it normalises the little folk, right? And I love those guys, and David Rappaport, who appeared in Tiz Was and even appeared in The Young Ones, is a bloody comedy hero of mine. And I love that film so much. And I think little people are the best. We need to see more of them. And again, Dinklage in Game of Thrones was my favourite character. He's really, really, really good in it, and it just shows you that you can be a hero, even if you're not of average height. So yeah, I get a bit. He got me. But yeah, we're going to end with a sad story. I'm going to end with a sad story. This is from Batikaula in Sri Lanka, and this is the funeral of Pitambaram Rajam, 56, and he died. He died, but he used to feed a monkey every day, right? Yeah, it was a wild grey langur. He used to feed him every day fruit and biscuits at his forest side home, and on the day of his funeral, the monkey turns up, right? The monkey turns up. And oops, let me just get this queued up. And he's there with the body. He goes, "Oh, it's my mate." And he's like, it's quite sad. It's like, so he's checking him out. I think he realises he's not alive anymore. And he gives him a little farewell kiss. See? Says goodbye. Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? What a sad story. Anyway, I think I've done enough damage, because it'd be lunchtime. I think it's bacon sandwich. And, oh blimey, it's all going on. Payne's in. G-Man's in. Harry's in. This is alright, Darren, just listen to your albums. Lovely stuff. Thank you for the $8.99. It's a gold one. And glad you enjoy it, and thank you for the money. It's greatly appreciated. Payne says they didn't count John Major as a PM of colour because he was grayscale. More peas, Norma. Andrew says, "Hey Darren, just ordered a revolver set via your link, so you should get some money." I might get £1, because that's expensive depending on which one you want. Again, I'm tempted. I keep listening to the remixes they've put on YouTube. I'm like, oh man, I wish I had more money than sense. Andrew says, "I sure I'm getting a Chinese takeaway." Well, this is the thing. You just don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. It's weird. China seems to be everywhere. Again, they are taking over vast swathes of the world. Moved into Africa, South America. They've invested in their infrastructure. They own many African ports and airports because they've given them the money to build them. And these African countries have got to pay back the very big loans. Same in South America. They move in mysterious ways. Andrew says, titty you not, indeed. And Brendan says, Willow is another top small person hero. Well, yeah, exactly. Willow, again, they're rebooting that on Disney. They're doing a series of that. Funny enough, you should mention it. And what's his name's back playing the role. But because he's in it and he's the titular character, they can't really recast it with someone else, and that's a good thing. But you know, I think she's got. I mean, I was shocked when they said they were rebooting it and they weren't going to have any, you know, small folk in it. It's going to be regular sized actors. They've even named the cast. They've even named the cast of the new Time Bandits, and every single one of them is, like I say, of average height. And you go, well, it's not going to be Time Bandits then, is it? It's going to be something else, because that was the unique character of it. Same Willow. Willow's is the story of a little person who takes on the world, and he's a hero. I saw that at the cinema. Val Kilmer, me and the missus saw that when it was out, and again, it's one of those classic. Was it 88? I think it was late 80s movies that kind of got forgotten, and I'm really pleased that they're bringing it back. But yeah, we need more of these people in roles. You know, when we talk, this is the thing about inclusion. They go on about inclusion, but if you're genuinely disabled, you know, or different, get out of here. Get out of here. It's a load of bluff. It really is a load of bluff and bullshit. It makes me angry. It really does. Because we were more enlightened in the 80s and the 90s, and now we seem to be going backwards. We seem to be stepping retrograde, you know, in order to, I don't know, be kind. But you end up just alienating people and actually sidelining people that could do with the bloody work. Anyway, I'm out of here. And yeah, maybe we'll do this tomorrow. Again, I've got this cold, this weird cold that is, I'll be all right tonight. Before bed I feel fine. Every morning I wake up. It's probably the vid. Anyway, thank you for watching. That was the news. And I've got loads of stories in the funny folder that we can get through, which I will work through. I had a couple of days of that. I'm not feeling my best. And I'll see you soon, right? Ta-ta, you better drink it up.